again, it is Monday. Y'all know what that means. Monday motivation. I am so excited. We are kicking off the new topics tonight. Tonight, I keep feeling like I keep saying each week, it's going to be short and sweet, but tonight might actually be short and sweet. So, this chapter or the topic I got this from, wasn't as long as I thought it would be. Not that it really matters. I usually try to make these 45 minutes to an hour. So again, not that it matters, but tonight might be a little short night. Again, it always depends on how involved everybody is in the chat and so forth. So if you are new to my channel and you don't know who I am Pamela, aka Scooterrenee. I was off work today, so excuse the look. This is what I normally don't look like if I've been working, put it that way. But I am Scooterrenee. I'm your host for tonight's Monday Motivation, as I am for all Monday Motivation. Make sure you do all the YouTube things to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring that bell for all notifications and a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that as well. So, again, if you are new to my channel, I hope you'll keep coming back. We always have great new different topics each and every week. For the most part, and always come back at 8 p.m. Central every Monday. All my OGs, I see you jumping in. Those of you that are getting the notification, jumping around from one other channel to the next, because there's a lot of great things going on in our YouTube community and everything. So people will be jumping in and out as they get the notification and so forth. So welcome in all my OGs, the playback crew. Welcome in. If you are the playback crew, leave me a comment. Let me know that you're the playback crew. Let me know some of the answers to tonight that I'm going to be asking of the questions throughout the chat tonight and the topic and so forth. So let's go ahead and see who all is in the chat, and then we'll get started. We'll get started with that climb. Selena's already hurting. Not because of the climb, though. Welcome in, my feather sister, Selena. So good to see you. Joanne, welcome. Good to see you. And then we got Sandy here. Hello, sweet Sandy. Welcome in. Good to see you. And then we got Kathy, sweet. Hello, Kathy. Welcome in. There's a reason why she's got sweet in her name, because she is so very sweet. So welcome in, Kathy. Good to see you. And let's see. Yeah, so Selena had her mouth surgery today. So she's, kind of loopy, hurting, and all the above. So, hey, Shelby, welcome in. So good to see you. And, of course, I'll be asking for those prayers at the end of tonight. But also, Rylan is on his third treatment today as far as the transfusion goes. So keep him in your prayers still, if you would, please. All right. I'll say hello as more people come in. If you haven't said hello, say hello. Let us know that you're here. All right. Tonight, we are starting the climb that I've been telling y'all about for, 2 weeks now, maybe? But we are climbing Hero Mountain. And we are at the very base of the mountain. We're at the bottom of it. So our very first chat participation is who is ready to put in the work and start the climb up Hero Mountain with me. Who all is ready? I feel like my camera's crooked. It's just me. Maybe I'm crooked. But who is ready to start this climb on Hero Mountain? Like I said, I've got the topics planned out till March, and it all has to do with the climb, climbing the mountain. Sandy says, me. Right, Kathy said, nice to be on a live unsteady of the playback crew, right? Yes. Selena says, me. I'll ask her tomorrow when she's on the pain meds and make sure she is. I'm just kidding. See, I can just pick on Selena because that's just what I do, right? So I hope everybody's ready for the climb. I know not everybody's still in here just yet, but we'll be asking if everybody's ready for the climb. So when you start with the climb, I'm not one that climbs mountains. I've done half marathons, so that's about as close as I get I have climbed Pinnacle Mountain, so I take that back. That's like I haven't ever done like the scaling of the mountains, type thing. Joanne says me, yay! But I have climbed our Pinnacle Mountain here, which is not big by any means. I've done Mount Magazine. I couldn't think of it because if you've ever watched my video to the song The Climb, I was watching it before I came on here because I just love that video because it reminds me of where I started, where I'm at right now. But anyways, there's a picture of me in there. We're at the highest elevation in Arkansas, and that's Mount Magazine. So I guess I have climbed a mountain. But when you start with a climb, no matter if it's business growth, if it's personal growth, it could be spiritual growth, whatever it is that you want to improve, that you want to grow in, you got to start at the bottom of every one of them. And you have to climb up. You can't, just go side to side because you're not going to go anywhere. But also, when you go side to side, you stay stagnant and you just do lateral moves. So if you've ever had to go from one job to another, you know that it's got to be a pretty good reason why you're switching jobs. You don't like your boss, you don't like the people you work with, but most of all, because that's going to happen no matter where you're at, probably. But most of all, it's got to be financially worth it for a lot of people. There's got to be some growth opportunity there, to where you can move up and advance in a company. There's got to be something to improve upon. And that's just the way it is when you're climbing a mountain. And I know for me, I don't want to just stay stagnant or do a lateral move anytime I think about doing something different. So, I'll have to listen. I don't know if I've heard that one or not. I'll have to listen to that, Shelby. Thank you. I love Alan Jackson to begin with. So, yeah. So, and I thought this was perfect time to talk about this because I think we are all for the most part, are at this point of our life. I think I can safely say that most of us in this chat, those that are watching the playback, I think most of us are probably in our 50s, maybe 40s, maybe 60s and up. So those of us that we're ready for a change, no matter how little it may be or how big it may be. And now is the time to do it. Now is the time for us to embrace this change and to grow together and everything. And we're going to do all this together. Nobody's alone in this climb. Lisa D, welcome in. So good to see you. Welcome, welcome. So, we didn't do it yesterday or the day before. We didn't do it last week, last month, last year. So what are we waiting for? And tomorrow is not promised to us. So today, right now at 8:11 p.m. Central. Hey, Josie, welcome in. Good to see you. At 8:11 p.m. Central, right now, in this moment, since we know tomorrow's not promised to us, now is the time to start making some of these changes to do the climb. And we're going to get into more of that here in just 1 second. Okay, maybe 10 seconds, but who's counting? Positive thought. Don't exaggerate your outer personal paint job. Don't exaggerate the paint job on the outside. Instead, grow in appreciation of the various colors you hold inside. I just thought that was an awesome quote. Don't exaggerate your outer personal paint job yourself. Instead, grow in appreciation of the various colors you have on the inside. I don't know about that, Josie. I don't know if you're the Otis here. You're so young looking. We all know, especially as women, and most of the time, let's face it, that's all I have in here is women. Very seldom do we have men in here, and that's fine. Age is a number, Josie. You are mid-40s, mover and shaker. There you go. Right, Lisa D? I just love that quote. I've never thought about that. But as women, we know that change, it sneaks up on us, and it's a gradual change for most of us. I have wrinkles and creases in my face that I didn't have 10 years ago. I have sagging skin that I used to not have as well. Some of that might be to losing weight. Some of it might just be because of gravity, getting older and everything. But what do most women do when they start noticing changes on the outside of their body? This is chat time. This is where I want y'all to come in. What do you start to do as you notice changes on the outside of you? I'm guilty of a couple of them. Maybe now you do nothing, but what did you do when you first started noticing changes? You start looking in that mirror, you start looking a little bit closer. Maybe you had to get the magnifying mirror to put your face up to it. But as you started noticing the wrinkles and creases and stuff like that, was there anything that you guys in chat have done? Hey, Robin Tyson, welcome in. So y'all be thinking about that. Let me know if there's anything y'all done. But do you recognize yourself anymore with these changes before trying to fix them, though? Do you recognize, did you look in the mirror and go, oh my gosh, who's that lady there? Maybe some of us are guilty of saying, who's that old lady there? Who is that stranger looking back at me? I don't remember that line being right there. I don't remember the bags being right there under my eyes, Maybe, this is where I was going with, if any of you have done any changes on the outside, maybe some started with Botox to get rid of the lines. I know Botox is also used for migraines, but I'm strictly talking about changes, physical changes on the outside of your body. Because if you remember the quote that I just read, don't exaggerate your outer personal paint job. Maybe some of us have. So maybe it was Botox when you saw the crow feet or wrinkles in the forehead. Maybe some started coloring their hair when they noticed the first gray hair that they had. We might have had facelifts or tummy tucks or other changes like that, plastic surgery, whatever. When we start noticing sagging skin, I was just curious because I've done the Botox. I have done that only once, only one time. Under my eyes bother me more than anything. So I've had stuff, it wasn't Botox. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it's supposed to help with the bags in your eyes. I've done that once or twice. And as we all know, if it doesn't last, you got to keep doing it, and to keep doing it, you got to spend more money. Well, I'm not going to waste my money on that, any more than I already did. So that's right. Josie said, focus on the inside, not the outside. Joanne said, I look in the mirror and say, who's that old lady looking back at me, right? I see my sister, not myself. Yes, that's what Sandy said. And Josie says, I always take good care of my skin. See, that's one thing I'm guilty of, Josie. So everybody's like, you just wait, it's going to catch up with you. But I don't remove my makeup at night. I'm too lazy. I'm ready to go to bed, ready to have my snack with Bella and go to bed. So in the morning when I get up, I'll clean my face then with a makeup wipe remover. It's not like I go into any huge cleaning thing. I don't know if any of y'all ever heard of New Skin. I'll use that here and there. They got the micro, whatever they call it, where you rub it all on your face. It's supposed to help with wrinkles and to smooth things out and so forth. And these brown spots, which I don't believe there's anything that removes brown spots. I just don't believe that anymore. And, there's just tons of stuff out there available at our fingertips, the red lighting and stuff like that. So Joanne says, I see my mom looking back at me too in the mirror, right? Yes, there's some things. For me, it's not been so much as a look. It's been certain sounds I'll do. Maybe it's a laugh or it's a sigh or something. But every so often I'll be like, gosh, that just sounded like my mother, which I welcome that now that she's, not here and so forth. So, but for some of you that might not want to say anything or whatever, but change change can be hard when we face this stranger in the mirror, when we feel like we're a young woman. When we're not looking in the mirror, we feel like we're a young woman. I know I feel this way all the time. I don't feel like I'm 50. I feel like I'm still in my 20s, if I'm honest with you. Just how I act and behave maybe sometimes and stuff. Um, so when I'm not looking in the mirror, I feel like I'm this young woman and I got bright eyes and I'm ready to face another day. But we look in the mirror and we try to lift those cheeks so that we have a moment of youthfulness. Look, I mean, all of us have done that, where we've taken our face. Maybe it was to make fun of people that do the facelifts and stuff. I don't know, but we've all done that. So you know what I'm talking about when I say that. So my mom, who I've shared, her story about battling Alzheimer's. I can't even remember what all I've shared and had it. So if I'm repeating myself, I apologize in advance. But one day while my brother was taking care of her, and this is before we had to put her in the nursing home and so forth, he was taking care of her and he walked by the bathroom and he heard her talking to someone. She kind of had the door shut, not all the way, but so he could hear a little bit of the conversation she was having. And maybe, he thought to himself, maybe she was praying while on the toilet or she was just talking to herself, because we all talk to ourselves, right? But when my brother opened the door, he saw her standing in front of the mirror in front of the vanity there and was having a full-blown conversation with somebody. And he said to my mom, he said, Mama, who are you talking to? And she said, she kind of chuckled and she goes, well, that lady right there. And she was pointing to herself in the mirror. She's like, that lady right there, I'm talking to her. And my mom no longer recognized herself. And granted, that's a whole other level, because it has to do with her brain and so in the Alzheimer's disease and so forth. But some of us might have done that. We might have looked in the mirror and go, I don't recognize that girl anymore, that woman anymore, whatever you call yourself. I don't recognize who I see anymore. Joanne said, I used to color my hair for years and always put makeup on. But it was during COVID, I just decided to let my hair go gray and I hardly put makeup on. I don't feel my age mentally, but physically I do. Yes. That's, yeah, I totally get that. Working from home, if I'm working from home today with the holiday, so we didn't have to work at all, which I always feel so lost when I'm at home and I know Robert's at work, so I'm thinking, well, I need to be working. And I'm like, oh, wait, it's a holiday. I don't have to be working. So, but maybe you're one of those people that have, you might have looked in the mirror at one time and just says, I just don't recognize her anymore. So yes, change can be hard for us, regardless if it's a disease that we have or just mentally. Change can be hard, and especially as we get older. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to get older. And then also, I don't know how many of y'all might still be in the same boat with me, but not only are we seeing, changes within ourselves or of ourselves, but the world as we know it, it is constantly changing. My boss, Matt, again, I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but my boss, Matt, that I work for, is 9 years younger than me. He is in every sense of a bratty younger brother, as I call him at times. He is definitely that. There's a reason why, because he's 9 years younger than me. And I am, for the first time in my whole life of working, I am the oldest in the office. And I'm finding myself at this point in my life, like many others, I can't help but question at times, what else could I do at this stage of my life? What else is there that I could do? If I was to lose my job tomorrow, what else could I do? Is this what old feels like? Because now I think, well, crap, if I did lose my job, if I lost my job, no one would hire me maybe, because I am older. I'm getting older. And I mean, how many more years would I really have left to give to another company, another employer, whatever, where my mind is still quick as a whip able to see change and make changes and so forth, have those young ideas still attract, or having those young ideas still attracting the younger people? Would I still have that? And all three of my girls, they're grown. They don't live at home, and they have their own families that they've started. So, there's no more schoolwork. There's no more bedtime schedules or bedtime stories to be read. There's no making sure, lunches are made and, they've had their showers and stuff like that. There's no busyness as far as that goes. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I love being an empty nester. Love every bit of it. But who needs women at this stage where 40s are now 50s and 50s are now 60s and beyond? This is the halftime, guys. This is our halftime. Yes, Robin, the perfect right there. I know her backstory and losing her job after 14 years and what she's been through just within the last year and a half. And those are things that are concerning to me now that I'm at that age. I'm at 50, and there are, younger and older people in the same chat. But those are thoughts you start having. There are things now that I start having going, wow, that's stuff I never even worried about. That's stuff I never even thought about. And things I watch on TV that I used to not watch, and, it's all over the place. Joanne says, it's even stranger when you start seeing your doctors young enough to be your grown children or grandchildren, right? I'm working with guys in my office that could be my kids. They're my kids' age. Talk about that being strange. Robin said at age 65, it was evident at my age no one wanted to hire me, right? And it's like, do I go and work at Walmart, be a Walmart greeter, Can I afford to retire? That's what a lot of people worry about, is if they can even afford to retire. That's a worry that Robert has, as we get older, is will we have enough to retire on? Will Social Security be able to, what we've worked so hard to do all these years, is there going to be enough there to even help us when we retire? And it's a genuine concern. It's a legit concern. I think a lot of people go through it, all ages, as you get older. So, but again, there's nothing. It's just Robert and I. And yeah, I got my Monday motivations. I got my auctions and, other things that I do. But as far as if I didn't have this to do, what would Robert and I be doing anyways? Just watching TV, doing nothing. And so there's not that busyness here anymore. And being in the financial industry as long as I've had for 30 years, it's like I've seen those that have retired and they're like, man, I'm busier now than I ever was when I was working. Like, how did I work and do everything that I do now? And then I've had people that they just sat there and pretty much watched the paint dry on the walls or watched the grass grow. And granted, those people didn't live as long as my people that are super busy now. So I've seen all walks of life throughout this career that I've had. Right, Robin? Yes, I think retiring is the best thing you could ever do. And Joanne says everything is so different in the workforce now that it was when we first started, all the new technology. Yes, and that's the other thing. And I used to wonder, like my parents and some of the other people, as they got older, they were like, I don't like change. I don't like change. Changing sucks and all this kind of stuff. And now I'm starting to get it. It's like there's now more red tape in the financial industry than there's ever been. Like there's this one thing called, and I'll just go on this tangent real quick. There's this one thing called RightBridge. We put your name in, we put the year that you were born, and why it won't calculate what age you are. I got to still put your age in there. And then you got to answer these sets of questions because basically it's us being able to prove that this product that we're recommending to you is the right move to make. and why it's the right move and why we didn't recommend these other products and so forth and so on, whatever. And then you answer the first set of questions to only have to answer it again. So it's like you're doubling the work for what? For us to be able to print our report and say that we recommend this annuity and this is why, and the report says yes, that this makes perfect sense, and stuff like that. And it's just more and more work. And as we get older, those of us that's been in the financial industry forever, we know that back in the day, it didn't take but 5 minutes to open up an account and boom, it was done, it was approved and done. And so, yes, things are changing, the technology's changing. There's, now when I go to work, I have to log in and then I have to wait for either my Apple Watch or my phone to pop up the notification saying, this is really you. And you say, yes, it's really me. And then you got to do that throughout the whole daggum day. I used to not ever have to do that. So, those are just really minor things. They're not huge earth-shattering changes, but it grows. It's a gradual thing that starts happening. Hey, Swamp Picker, welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. So now I'm going to ask you guys, do any of you in chat know what a hairpin turn is? Because those of us that are trying to thrive in midlife, and I'm talking, those of us that are anywhere from the 40s to the 60s, maybe even past if you're still working and so forth, but we're trying to thrive in midlife and we have to get ready for the sudden changes. And even those that are gradual changes like I just discussed. So does anybody in chat know what a hairpin turn is? Anybody? Swamp Picker says a racing term. Yes. So in case some of you did not know, a hairpin turn is a bend in the road. Maybe some of y'all have gone up these fountains that are, where you can actually drive. And, they've been turns like this, like basically a U-turn, so to speak. But it's a bend in the road with a very acute inner angle. I hate geometry. I've never understand geometry. So every time I hear acute and angle, I think of geometry. But yeah, it's a sharp turn. Yes, Joanne, Lisa D. But it's making it necessary for an oncoming vehicle to turn about 180 degrees to continue on the road. So it's 180 degrees that you're having to do this turn in. So it literally looks like a bent metal hairpin, or as we know, maybe a bobby pin. I've heard some people say even like a needle, the eye of the needle type thing. It's that quick of a turn. So some famous mountains in the world that you can travel on are known for these hairpin turns. The Alps have 48 hairpin turns. The Western French Alps have 21 hairpin turns, and they are the ones that host Tour de France, the cycle race. So like Swamp Picker said, racing term, yes. And it's challenges and tests. It's to challenge and test those skills of the athletes and their agility and everything. And it's so important that you do not misjudge these hairpin turns, because if you do, anybody knows what happened? You can go off. And if you're on a mountain, you're going off the cliff, basically. But we don't have to stay on a road in our life of hairpin turns, because we have those in our life, as you know, changes that we got to turn on 180 and make that decision. But we don't have to constantly stay on that road of those hairpin turns. Crash and burn, right, Swamp Picker? Yes. Good night, Shelby. Thank you, sweetheart. That's right. It's all over if you miss the turn, so don't miss the turn. But some people think they got to constantly do this. They it's almost like an adrenaline type thing, and they got to constantly feel like they got to be making these quick changes and so forth. So on this climb, Hero Mountain, I want you to remember that climbing doesn't have to be a difficult journey or even a long one when we want to make a change in our life. We can choose a different path to get to the top. So over the next few weeks, as we're discussing this hero mountain and everything, I want you to keep in mind that as we climb this mountain, that there is more than one way to scale a mountain. When we take in the beauty of the mountain, that is where we will use these climbing cables to assist us, making this climb manageable and more enjoyable. Think of, ski resorts, or like, I think, well, I guess most of them might be ski resorts. But anyway, they have those gondolas that take you up to the very top. And there, if you notice, there's not a whole lot of effort in your part, right? And this is the kind of support that we can use to make successful transition. So keep in mind as we go along in this climb that there is more than one way to scale this mountain that we're going to be climbing together. I don't think I have ever rode a cable car on cables known as the gondola. I don't think I've ever done that, but you guys know what I'm talking about when I speak of these. And I mean, which would you rather do when getting up a steep, hard mountain if you have a choice? There are things to help make the climb a little easier, because if you had to race down the other side, you would want to have to do the climb first, right? If you're, that's why all the skiers, they ride up and then they ski down. Well, I don't know if they would want to do that going up the mountain and then have to, just go right back down. So I think the cars, the gondolas, are what makes it easy, right? So why we need to incorporate that kind of thing in our lives. Cables that we will be discussing more and more as we go along with our climb of Hero Mountain can not only be used to help us climb, but also they are also known to change the scene, as in theaters. When I talk of cables, you'll hear me talk about cables a lot over the next few weeks. But in theaters, in these older theaters, at least, they have rigging systems. They have the flying systems and the system of the ropes and blocks and even counterweights. More and more becoming electronic as we push on to the future. But these older theaters, you know what I'm talking about, they have where you got to pull the ropes, to raise the curtain. But just like on the stage where you have different sets and different scenes, we have this in our lives as well, of the different backdrops and chapters of our lives. These older theaters that have like I was saying, that have the old rope to draw the curtains, change the scenes maybe, they take extra effort and strength to manage them. But regardless of our current backdrop of our lives, we can still choose how to climb our own personal journey of Hero Mountain, because each of us is going to have our own personal journey as we go through this. So as we are all standing at the base of Hero Mountain, please remember that there are also dangers of doing nothing. If some of y'all decide to stay at the base of the Hero Mountain, you're welcome to. You don't have to climb with us. But there are dangers when you decide to do nothing. If we choose to not climb and just walk around the base of the mountain, there are dangers. Just like with a medical diagnosis, you have to make a proper assessment of where you are in your midlife and halftime part of your life. So right now, you know that the Super Bowl is right around the corner. It's in February 9th, I believe. But if you think about football and the players, and they do the first quarter, then they play the second quarter, what comes after the second quarter? What do they call that space between the second and third quarter? Because they don't go playing from second quarter right into third quarter and fourth quarter. What's that space between the second quarter and the third quarter called? Anybody know? If you watch football, you should know. Got it, Joanne. Lisa D, yes. Yes. Halftime. Halftime. That's right. It's called a halftime. And what do you think they do during the halftime? What if one team is 0 points, or maybe they might be 7 points, which if you know football at all, you know that's usually a touchdown and a field goal. And the other team is, let's say, and I was trying to do the math in my head, but I was like, I give up. But let's say the other team is 21 points or is ahead. They're ahead going into the halftime. What do you think is going on during the halftime? Joanne says, I think I'm in the fourth quarter. Whatever, girl. You're just young like the rest of us. So do you think that the team that is losing, they just go in their locker room area, get dressed, change clothes, and they're like, we're done. Might as well give up and quit. Throw in the towel. Lisa D says resting, hydrating, right? Do you think the coach of the team just goes in and starts talking about the weather or what all he needs to do when he gets home from the game or what he's doing this coming weekend and just talks about nothing? Right? That's what I look forward to, Joanne. The halftime show. That's what the rest of us is doing. You're fine, Selena. I figured that's what it was. But no, they don't just go in there and just sit around and do nothing. If they're a good team at all, they're not going to do that. They do a brief reassessment. What worked, what didn't work. You know, what runs was good, what plays was bad, what, you know, whatever. But they do a brief reassessment. I only know enough of football to, you know, a little bit. They do a brief reassessment. The team rallies together to focus on the most critical strategies with some minor adjustments. They reassess and strategize how to make better plays so that they can come back out for the third and fourth quarter and win the game, possibly. Right, Joanne? Yeah. But it's the exact same thing that we need to do at this point in our lives too. When we're feeling defeated, we need to focus on the most critical strategies to make minor adjustments. So when we do, you know, go and we look in the mirror again, either after tonight's Monday motivation, as you go in there and brush your teeth, take your pills, use the bathroom, whatever it may be, or wherever your mirror may be, I should say, might not necessarily be your bathroom that you go to, but as you know, maybe it's tonight after I get done speaking, or maybe it's tomorrow morning when we get up and get ready for the day. I hope you will look at yourself again and acknowledge that you have more skills, you have more experience, and you have more capacity than you have had at any other stage. Don't look at those lines on your face or the gray in your hair. And then, you know, as you're freaking out, you know, don't be calling, making a phone call to schedule your Botox appointment or hair coloring appointment. You should reconsider. We all want these short-term remedies, just like the facial creams that we buy and so forth. But why can't we just have those deepening lines and gray hairs and blemishes if it's going to, as I said, you know, that we have more skills, more experience, more capacity? The sagging skin, why can't we just wear all of this with pride and accomplishment? We have earned each and every one of those that are infused with success and even missteps. And we've earned the smile lines as well. See, I got them. I got smile lines. Hey, Nancy, welcome in. Good to see you. There is an old saying, and probably some of you have heard this in chat. There is an old saying of, if the house needs painting, then paint it. But don't go and start exaggerating and distorting the outer appearance of the house or yourself. Grow in appreciation of the various colors you hold on the inside. Each and every woman and man are beautiful, no matter what your skin color, your education, or your language. We're all beautiful. We're all unique. So I am the coach. You are my players, and we are at halftime, guys. We are at halftime. It's time to feel empowered, taking the time and energy to re-strategize, just like Joanne said, Lisa D said, resting and hydrating. We need to be taking that time to, re-strategize for whatever our next chapter in life looks like. If you remember last week when I did the new year with the word and phrase of what mine was, and y'all shared what yours was and so forth, then you remember I also said this is why I get excited for the year. It's a new book. It's a new chapter with pages that are blank. There's no reason that this climb, this new chapter in each of our lives, shall be difficult with multiple switchbacks and steep and rocky. There's no reason. There are reasons. We are going to learn to have helpful cables and even the fly system. Peter Pan is all I think of when I read that. But fly systems to make this climb smoother. Each of us may be at the bottom of this hero mountain all together, but we have the same goal of reaching our own personal peak. And each of our personal peaks are uniquely different, taking out the countless other voices that we hear throughout our days and weeks and months and years, taking all those voices out, those extra voices that are just clamoring for attention. With any climb, it's important to focus on your own climb and not on the others climbing around us. Remember that destructive plunges will only occur when we get distracted and we take our eyes off our personal journey and our goals. So as we start this climb together on Hero Mountain, we must not become consumed with others, but keep ourselves focused on our own goals and reaching the peak of Hero Mountain. I knew what she was saying, but this was just too funny. Hey, Tobin, Nancy, sorry, fell asleep a day. That says, hey, Robin, Nancy, sorry, fell asleep again. See, I told you I speak Scooterrenee. So, guys, this is the start. Who's going to climb with me so we can make this a smoother climb together, but for our own personal peak? The payback, you can be the payback crew. I'll take a payback anytime. All right, guys. So I hope tonight it's very short and sweet. We don't get into the meat of it until next week. And that's where you be ready to be active in chat. So you just got a little bit tonight, but next week we are full blown going to be into the meat of the climb and everything. So right now we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom of Hero Mountain. I hope you guys are all excited to do this climb with me as well. Thank you for starting off your week with me for Monday Motivation. There is always, again, like I said at the beginning, there are other YouTube things that channels that you could be watching, other things that you could be doing, shows on TV that you could be watching, but you chose to be here with me. So I thank you for being here with me tonight. Tomorrow night, I will hopefully be on with Selena, because y'all know she just had her mouth surgery. But we'll be on for our one price short of a Happy Meal at 7:30 p.m. Central. So keep her in your prayers for the mouth surgery that she just had today. Everything went well and so forth, but we all know that each day is different. Continue to keep her in your prayers, but also keep Rylan in your prayers as well. Today was his third treatment that he had. So pray for strength, comfort, and peace today, or not only for Rylan, but also for Stevie. Stevie, his mama, is up there. Selena's daughter has been up there this whole time. So be praying for her as well. As y'all know, she's pregnant and everything, and that can be exhausting. So also keep everybody, the whole family, in your prayers as well. So Selena, Sam, Rylan, Stevie's husband, and the kiddos, the whole family, keep them in your prayers, and friends and so forth. So Wednesday night, again, I think Selena and I will be on with Josie's Place channel. So make sure you're subscribed to Josie's Place, because we'll be on with her at 6 p.m. Central. Thursday night, I will have Cool Ranch on me at 7:30 p.m. Central. And then Friday, I believe at 1 p.m. Central, I'm going to have Wonder Woman Wendy on with me. And I think Selena might join me. Harley might be there as well. So, again, that's why you want to make sure you are subscribed to Scooter Renee channel, because then you know when I go live or upload new content. Next Monday night, motivation. We will be discussing further about the cables and how the mindsets are so important for those cables, as we were discussing earlier, and how they make the climb easier. Maybe 2 fries. Might be 2 fries short of a Happy Meal. That'll be okay, though. So that's what we're discussing next Monday. I hope to see you back here at 8 p.m. Central. Remember, oh, hold up, Lisa D. She says, keep my brother Gilbert in your prayers. He isn't doing good. I'm going to visit him next weekend. So prayers for Lisa D's brother Gilbert. All right. So remember, don't be distracted by others, but keep focused on the goal to reach the peak of our hero mountain. Rest up and be ready to start the climb next week. Now let's do this thing. Good night, everybody.